Hello everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to the weekly comic book countdown. Unfortunately, this is like a week late, and that's due to the fact that, I had gotten sick again. You guys know the drill. I already mentioned this on the indie review. This is actually a day late because last night I was out like a light, but the good news is I slept, and I feel lots better, so maybe the extra sleep helped. Anyway, hopefully, tonight I'll be getting the rest of the digital indie books. The indie review should be on time this week, as well as the Big 2 review. So just because this is late, don't think those are late. Due to the fact that myself and Brent weren't feeling good, the Hola Toys live show should be this Saturday. And tomorrow night, or tonight, whenever this goes up, Friday, will be Dark Avenger live to make up for the Friday the 13th special I couldn't do, as well as the It's a Podcast, which ended up becoming Dark Avenger Live, didn't happen also. The good news is, next month there's another Friday the 13th, so we have a chance again to do the Friday the 13th special then instead. So let's get into the books this week, guys. 11 books altogether, and we're counting down from number 11. Mike had 3, so he's going to be starting at 3. So let's start with 11, 10, and 9.
Which were released on...
Oh, thank you. The books were released on...
February 11, 2015.
I have to get used to the new countdown intro. Give me one more. This is the episode.
You've been doing the months. How many episodes?
I'm used to the reviews, and due to the heavy comments and messages saying please review the books, we are reviewing them. We're just leaving out a couple more details. I'm letting you guys know that we are, and these are a bit late, so I feel like we talk a little bit more about them, but we're going to still make it brief because these are old books also. These weeklies especially, the next issues are out for all of them. So number 11 is World's End issue 19. A bunch of the same stuff as always. You got Kara and Val fighting. They find a satellite that they have to rip into, as you guys see here. Apocalypse is now scorching Earth. Green Lantern fails to stop the being from Darkseid from entering the Earth's core. Bad stuff's happening in the underground, in Adam's Haven. I forgot what it was called. You get a hooded person that we don't know who he or she is yet, and then you got the satellite, the heroes that were heading to where Sloane's space station was. They head towards the space station and get attacked also. Really, this was a very short book. I mean, this was basically it. It was a very quick read. It was almost ridiculously too quick, if you ask me. Because I felt like, okay, there's more, and then it turned out it was the Suiciders or whatever preview, and I was like, wow, that was a very short book. Number 10 also kind of felt short, Batman Eternal 45. Again, I was not happy with the whole demonic stuff, ghosts and everything, and I'm glad it all ended here. That's the good news. The bad news is, we figured it out finally at issue 45, and it's because of the whole ghostly demonic thing that put the basic telltale signs of who the person is behind taking down Batman, aka Bruce Wayne. And I'm skipping all this ghost stuff because it was dumb, but there was also a very good part with Spoiler and Bluebird, just saying. But anyway, looking over that part, Batman finally figures out who's behind the whole thing, and spoiler alert, really not, because Batman Eternal 46 is out. Ra's al Ghul is quite possibly the person behind everything going on in Batman Eternal, and issue 46 answers the question, is Batman Eternal? The best weekly, and number 9 of this week, goes to Futures M41, and finally we are getting to see Brainiac reaching into the multiverse, kind of. We get to see Hawkman kind of get hit with the multiverse ray, and you see all the different universes of the DCU kind of fading into his background. You get to hear him scream for Shiera, which I thought that was really cool also, that, you know, it's starting to connect together. Stuff's going on with Batman and Tim. we find out about I's whole set in involvement in everything, and we know it involves Brainiac, and then Superman returns. That's really for the most part. Oh, and there is a death in this book. I will say there is a death in this book. I'm not going to spoil it.
Oh, wow.
That I won't spoil, even though this is a book, what do you call it, a week late. I'm not going to spoil that. But we do get to see the multiverse a bit here. And obviously they've already said this, that Future's End and apparently World's End, I have no idea how World's End is going to lead into it, but Future's End is definitely leading into Convergence, which basically won't matter because come... Come the end of Convergence, we're going into Divergence. And Divergence basically brings us right back to the New 52, except there's no more New 52 logo. That'll be, if you notice, it's not on this book. It's just going to go back to the DC universe. The universe that we've been in for the past 3+ years will be the main universe. And, well, basically Convergence is giving us that great big period to the old DC universe, which I'm not happy with, but... Look, at this point, arguing it 4 years almost later, if DC can't get it now, they're not going to get it at all. So, let them do what they want. I'll grab the books that look interesting, and I'll not read the books that don't look interesting. There will be digital books coming very soon to the countdown. I am telling you guys that now. So, come, I want to say May... May, June-ish. 2-to-1, there'll be a laptop beside us also for the digital stuff. Or we'll just have Mike's iPod like we do on the indie review for the covers. But honestly, there's going to be a bunch of stuff probably coming digitally to you guys soon. Just letting you guys know that. Okay, number 8 we're up to now, yeah, right? 8. Captain Marvel issue number 12. This was a very good issue, but at the same time, and I said this on the live show, when it comes to Captain Marvel, I feel like her books are an average read at best. They're enjoyable for what they are. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing super spectacular, but at the same time, if you like Carol, if you like Captain Marvel, this is definitely a book I would recommend trying out. But again, it's nothing spectacular. It is just average read, and the artwork's pretty good as well, but Captain Marvel goes back to space, and basically Tick was abducted along with Chewie, and now it's up to Captain Marvel to save both of them. They were basically taken by, what was it? Some type of space pirates.
Space pirates?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they were. Havasins. And basically they wanted Chewie for something because they found out what she was, which was a Flarkin. And Captain Marvel is chasing after them now, and it involves Mr. Knife. So obviously this is leading into, at some point, guess what? The Black Vortex. I believe Captain Marvel is a part of the Black Vortex for one issue. If I'm not mistaken, I know Nova is, that's for sure. So now it's up to Captain Marvel to save Chewie and Tick. That's basically it. And in the end, Tick is a prisoner in a slave camp, and Chewie is going to be used by the Half-Sins against their enemies, and then they're going to kill her, so she can't be used against them ever if somebody else gets Chewie. So, yeah, again, an average read at best. You know, it's an enjoyable read, but nothing to write home to mom about. But I'm liking it. This time around, I'm really enjoying Captain Marvel a bit more. She's going to be grounded again starting May, so hopefully the story won't go south again. But to be honest with you right now, I'm very happy with where it's at. Okay, number 7. Smallville Continuity issue number 6. This issue was great. This issue had a bunch of stuff that harkened all the way back to Season 1 of Smallville. You've got the entire world of heroes versus the Monitors, and it's an epic fight, and the Monitors basically turn to their machines and start rebooting the universe slowly. And also, I like, spoiler alert here, Tess becomes Red Tornado in the Smallville universe,
really?
which
It's
I
not,
thought was
Lois Lane?
no, it's
Well, Lois
that's
Lane-
Earth 2.
Oh well. I thought there was-
Somebody gets killed that's close to Lex Luthor, which really puts Lex into a bit of a rage. And then the Monitors try to reboot Clark. They hit Clark with the reboot ray, so to speak, and he kind of. Oh, and also I would like to mention that Nightwing, Barbara Gordon, becomes a Blue Lantern, but Clark basically travels backwards into time from season 9 all the way back to there's scenes from every single point in Clark's life up to all the way back to episode 1, and that's where he kind of snaps out of it and says, "You will not take my reality away from me," and he breaks free, and looks like the Monitors are setting up one final blast, so to speak. So I guess it all ends in the next issue, guys, so it's going to be sad to see Smallville go. I'm really enjoying this series, but at the same time, obviously people aren't reading it as much as we are. So, for what it's worth, it was nice to see Smallville at least for one more season. Granted, it's not on TV, but at least we got to have a nice read for about a year. Smallville's been around for at least a year now. So, it was an enjoyable read for what it's worth. Number 6. All New X-Men issue number 36. This series, since they've entered the Ultimate Universe, we talked about this also on the live show, it feels like two things. Half of it feels like it's rushed, because some scenes they just run through it, very little to no explanation, then other scenes are dragged out, and they've been stretched throughout the whole series. Bobby scene, Beast scene especially. Beast has been with Doctor Doom the entire miniseries. And basically the X-Men go to save Beast in this book. And they do save Beast. Doctor Doom, there's a brief fight between the X-Men and Doctor Doom. He escapes and Beast basically blows up his castle. Yippee. And then they find the mutant that's able to shift through time, so to speak, and they have her try to get them back. And she can't control her powers, obviously. But in the end, she does manage to open a portal back to 616, and I don't know why the advertisement said that all of the one of the all-new X-Men was going to stay behind. They don't. They all end up going back. However, Beast has an epiphany at the end of this book, and he said, you know, in that universe, the mutants were treated even worse than what we're treated here. We need to change the world, and we need to do it now. This is the only person out of the all-new X-Men that was against changing the future, and now he wants to do it by any means necessary. I tell you, man, the beasts in the X-Men beasts are horrible. Hopefully he doesn't look to screw things up worse than what they already are, to be honest with you. But all in all, I feel like the series was rushed because obviously all-new X-Men is going into Black Vortex. So I don't know. I felt this was a lackluster series, and they threw Miles Morales in there along with the Ultimate X-Men just to give some faces to all new X-Men. I like Miles. I love Miles as a character. I love Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales, but I feel like they put him in here just to basically sell all new X-Men, which they didn't have to do because all new X-Men up to this point was pretty good. So we'll see where Black Vortex goes. So far, it's got a lot of promise, and it is in this countdown, so I'm not going to spoil it yet. Number 6, right? 5. That was number 6. You sure?
Yeah, that's number 5.
Okay. Yeah, because that's 4, and then, yeah.
Yeah,
Spider-Woman, issue number 4. This is the segue issue. This ends Spider-Woman's connection with Spider-Verse, and it leads into, finally, her breaking free into her own independent book. This book is also cut in half. The first half of the book is the conclusion to Spider-Verse, her being in, I believe it was Earth 001, on Earth 001, and her finding her way back to 616, if I'm not mistaken. But she sees something in the Jessica Drew from that world that makes her really start to think, and I like the synopsis in the beginning. The artwork by Greg Land is pretty good in this book, I will say that. So, she's back now on Earth 616. And I love the conversation her and Carol had. That was a really great scene. But then she goes to Steve Rogers to talk about her position with the Avengers. And just then, a alien attacks and big fight breaks out throughout half the book. And then she's like, enough is enough. And then she basically just comes out and says, I quit. After everything that's gone on, Skrull Queen, Space War, Spider-Verse nonsense, she basically wants normal life. And he's like, it's fine, you can quit. But remember, once an Avenger, always Avenger, right? And she's like, if we ever need you, you're here. And she's like, absolutely.
And you know what's gonna happen? She's gonna come back.
Of course, whenever they need her.
It's always.
And
like
then
that.
the last page is her saying, I think I'm gonna change my costume. I think I'm considering a new costume. And Carol's super excited about this, apparently. The first half of the book, I feel like, was cut short because the Marvel's offices wanted Spider-Woman in her own book, in her own life, ASAP. I feel like they took 2 books. I agree with Jay. Jay actually said this before I had a chance to, but I feel like they took issue 4 and 5 and crunched it together so that they can end Spider-Verse with Spider-Woman and also move forward into Spider-Woman's book. Now, with Spider-Verse over, let's see if I'll still be interested in Spider-Woman. But the previews we've been getting in the middle of a lot of books, it looks interesting. So I will save my judgment till after the next story arc. Because right now we were reading Spider-Woman because it's connected to Spider-Verse. So now we'll see what's going to go on after Spider-Verse, now that she's broken away from Spider-Man. Speaking of Spider-Verse, number 4 is Amazing Spider-Man 14. Dan Slott blew a balloon up. And it was a balloon of mass proportion that we all thought was going to explode into an explosive grand finale of all grand finales. The biggest Spider-Man event in existence. That's how it was promoted. And instead of popping the balloon, I feel like they just opened up the bottom and let the air go. And the balloon never gave us that explosive ending we wanted. The huge fight happens at the beginning of the book. Of course, Doc Ock Spidey does the things that we all hated that he did back during Superior Spider-Man. Spider-Ham was awesome, I will say that. And then, also, what was his name? Karn shows up, and everybody's predicting it, and I'm predicting it too. He's probably going to become the new Master Weaver. And he takes the side of the spiders, because he sees that his family is warped and completely plumb loco. And basically to save the universe, Doc Ock does what he thinks is best and kills the Master Weaver. Hooray for why I hated Doc Ock Spidey so much. The answer to anything when it comes to Doc Ock Spidey is to kill. But Pete had a plan up his sleeve, thank you God for that. And Mayday, after wanting her revenge and we were worried she was going to slip into a dark place, ended up not slipping into a dark place. And then it says to be concluded in the epilogue. And by the way, all the inheritors get thrown into Earth 3145 something, which was basically the 3145. The atomic universe. Hundreds of Spider-Men. Also, there was a nice scene with Spidey 2099 coming back with the giant robot, which I thought was really cool. All in all, though, event to end all events, the best Spider-Man event ever? No. I can definitely promise you guys this was not the best Spider-Man event yet. I have tons of trade paperbacks of really good Spider-Man events. This brought a bunch of Spider-Men together, but focused only on a few, which, by the way, during Battle World and Secret Wars, Spider-Verse is getting its own book for $5 a month. You really are pushing it, Marvel. Now you're going to $5 a book. Anyway, we'll probably get the first issue of that physically and then see where we're going, because that's what this is leading into the digital stuff, because Marvel's just pushing too much. But anyway, this series had lots of promise at the beginning, but the whole series was them talking and running and talking and running and not knowing what to do. And then finally they take the fight to the Inheritors. You know, during Scarlet Spiders, they destroyed the cloning facility, so dead is dead for the Inheritors. And still, in the end, nothing. They just get thrown into the atomic wasteland Earth, and that's it. And the father's trapped in a crystal. The epilogue, I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen next. But I agree with what Jay said on the live show also. Guys, you should really watch the live show. A lot of really smart reviewing went on this past week. If you're looking forward to the epilogue more than the final part of the story arc, that says something. So, as much as it was a nice event, it was a decent event, it was an average read, not event of the history. That's for sure. I've read a lot better from Spider-Man.
Alright, time number 3, Mortal Kombat X issue number 2.
And aren't you happy? In 2 weeks is issue number 3.
Yeah. This was very disappointing. Why was it disappointing? It only talked about... How many minutes?
Oh, we got time.
About Johnny Cage's daughter. What was her name? Like, it was just, like, all about her just, fighting, and also, Jax's, niece was in it as well. So, there's, like, this, tournament that happens, and, they both go in, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, they're a 21 and over club they go to, and here's some artwork. And just like her father, she gets cocky, like saying, oh, I could beat anyone and everything. I remember Johnny Cage, Cassie Cage, her name is. And it's a death match, and the only thing is, when she goes up against Frost, you know, she wins the battle, but then they say, you know, to kill her, and she doesn't really want to do that as like a fatality, and you know, due to that, something happens, and we get other people who came in to help them with that, and they say the Black Dragon requests your presence and everything that happens, and now the next issue is going to be about them going after Koto Khan, if I said his name right or something. From the Black Dragon's task and stuff. And next one's going to be Koto Khan's Secret Origin, which then there's a little short story after that, which was really not interesting and just boring stuff that I looked at it and I just went, no. No.
Looks like one more issue, and if it sucks, he's dropping it.
Possibly, but if this next origin story puts me to sleep, I am not going to even... No. Just... I literally gave that for someone else to review because I couldn't review that book on Frontline. So, no.
And my number 3, and you read this too, goes to Darth Vader, issue number 1. I thought it had a bit of a slower pace than Star Wars. I did not agree with the way Darth Vader and the Emperor were with each other. They were on polar opposite, at polar opposite places. They basically were, it looked like right there and then we were going to get Star Wars Episode 6, where Darth Vader, if you didn't watch Star Wars Episode 6, where have you been the past 30-somewhat years? It happened back in the 80s, but when Darth Vader killed the Emperor, I feel like I'm at that scene right now, because the Emperor is pissed off at Darth Vader for what happened on the Death Star, and Darth Vader is just being...
Basically, the Emperor was just slamming down Darth Vader.
And Darth Vader was getting pissed off about it,
right.
And basically it looked like they were both plotting against each other.
That, there's all these secrets, too, that the Emperor is hiding from him, and it's getting to the point where Darth Vader is like, seriously...
And that's wrong, because even in the Dark Horse universe, Darth Vader, after failing the Emperor, did everything in his power to try to get back into good faiths with the Emperor. So this was kind of out of character for this time period in the Star Wars universe. Maybe between episode 5 and 6 this could have been happening, but not right after 4. Because the Darth Vader and the Emperor were very close at that time. And then this also sets up Darth Vader hiring Boba Fett and a bunch of other bounty hunters to hunt down the people who killed the Death Star. And apparently Boba Fett had a Wookiee partner at some point.
Yeah, I was like, really?
Which was very weird. But this sets up the whole Boba Fett chasing after Han Solo, and it also leads into what happened at the end of episode 5, going into 6. So it was a good issue. The artwork was really good. I will say that. I want to find some good artwork for you guys. I think
there was a whole confrontation beginning between Darth Vader and Jabba the Hutt, actually.
There's some good action.
But you'll have to find out what the dialogue was about then. So
all in all, nitpicks, but at the same time, the dialogue between the Emperor and Darth Vader was very, very off. Too much in the future. I think Gillen went all the way to the end of the Star Wars trilogy, final 3-episode trilogy, instead of starting at the beginning. And that definitely is something that needs to be fixed. But other than that, and the slow pace, it was a good read. Not as good as Star Wars. We'll see when Leia comes out. I believe she comes out this week, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see where that goes. Darth Vader issue 2 comes out in 2 weeks. We'll see where that goes. I know because I've already made our order for 2 weeks from now, or 2 episodes from now. So we'll see where Darth Vader goes from here, but a little bit of a slow pace, and that's why I give it number 3 and not number 1. Now, before we go into issue 2, or our number 2s, give us just 1 second and a click of a button, and we will get to our top 2 books for this week. Alright, and we're back. And issue number 2, your number 2 pick of the week.
Thanos vs. Hulk, issue number 3. This book also, just...
Wow, this is the second bad book for Michael.
No, I mean, this is a title, Thanos vs. Hulk, and the thing about it is that Thanos isn't even in this issue. It's just the Hulk going after Blast Star. And here's some artwork, by the way. And in this is just, the Lord Analysis is also doing the tests on one of them that becomes Blast Star with all that. And it just winds up where Pip wakes the Hulk up after taking the thing off his head. And then the whole fight breaks out, and it was just all like, okay, you're fighting, and what's the point? Like, what's just Blast Star stopping him because they're saying like he's out of control and everything, and here's what even gets even more or something. In the end, not only is it Hulk versus Blast Star in this one, next one is going to be Lord Analysis versus Hulk. No. This versus book is turning into a fatal 4-way. No. Thank God there's only one issue, because if this was ongoing, I would have dropped it there. So, I'm telling you guys.
No Thanos in this book?
No Thanos.
And this is called Thanos versus Hulk.
That's what I'm trying to say. So, I mean, we had Hulk versus Iron Man, where it was a little bit of a slow pace, where the first issue was good and the last issue was good, and the middle was a little bit boring. This is just getting to the boring part, and if there's going to be another versus, which I know there is, no more verses. And I said this on live show too. This is the last versus book I am picking up.
From Marvel.
From Marvel. Thank you God the next issue's the last one, and then we don't have to see another versus again, at least. For me.
My number 2 has to go to Guardians of the Galaxy, issue number 24. Black Vortex is really good so far. It's really setting up nicely, and this looks like it's going to be a really good crossover, unlike the Trial of the Fiend, or Trial of Jean Grey, I should say. So Gamora has looked into the Black Vortex and has become something else. Beast ends up, spoiler alert, looking into the mirror, and he too becomes something else. And Kitty is starting to say, this thing isn't good, we need to destroy it, it's dangerous, and there's a fight between her and Star-Lord again, so that's kind of... There's some stuff with Thanos' son. I don't want to spoil that. I would definitely say read it, though. It's really cool. Beast now has... I don't like how they draw Beast in this book. I don't know why, but I just really don't like Beast. For some reason, he reminds me of an Avatar.
He actually does.
But Beast and Gamora end up protecting the Black Vortex when everybody wants it destroyed. And then the last page where Gamora turns the Black Vortex on everyone.
Whoa.
And they get to see themselves with all the power from the Black Vortex. That was a really interesting last page. And it says to be continued in Star-Lord issue number 9. I believe that comes out this week.
Yeah, and they have all the checklists of the Black Vortex.
Yes, and it does go into Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel 14 in April.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to get Cyclops too. Thank God it's only for one.
Guardians Team Up, I'm probably going to get that digitally. I will not probably get that physically. Same thing with Cyclops.
Yeah, I agree. Because Cyclops I gave up issues back. I don't even know what's going on, and I don't even want to know.
So those will be probably 2 parts we get digitally, because this really isn't going into a parted order. So maybe those won't matter as much. So anyway, that was number 2. Excellent. Artwork's really great stories, really going well. I would definitely recommend checking it out. I left out a lot of stuff, so you guys would definitely have something to look into. So we're now at number 1.
Thank you, God. This is a good book, at least. Justice League United, issue number 9. And in Justice League United, it's just the Legion of Superhero and Justice League United against Infinus. After the whole thing of what happened with Ultra, thanks to good old Biff, who actually made him into what he was and everything. We see Biff in a really ugly form, I will say that much, when he goes up against Supergirl. Here's some artwork. And it's just Legion of Superheroes and Justice League United teaming up just to prevent Infinus from growing even stronger. We also all have the return of Hawkman after Martian Manhunter went in his mind and just said that, you know, you were controlled by Bith and everything. So now he snapped out of it and now works with Justice League United. I'll give you some more artwork. I really love the artwork though in this book. I will say that much. And it's just a whole thing now where Martian Manhunter is trying to talk to Ultra, and I thought he was going to snap out of it, but the Infinite said, you know, Ultra's dead, I am now the new ruler, which creates a big, huge black hole. And that was pretty interesting, actually, just to see where it's going to go from there. So it was an interesting cliffhanger from where that is, and I'm glad Hawkman actually finally snapped out of it after that whole thing of what happened, so really great stuff. I really enjoyed this issue. The one issue I enjoyed this week from this rundown. Countdown, sorry.
Now for me, guys, this was a very average read week. Other than my top, I would say, 3 books, the rest of the books just fell average this week, not year. And even number 3 was kind of average. This book, out of all the books I've read this week, definitely was my favorite. And definitely deserving of my number 1 spot. And that's Secret 6, issue number 2. Gail Simone writes an awesome story. However, Lashley, I forgot his first name, I'm going to go into it anyway. The artwork definitely, I feel, needs a bit of work. It's very sketchy, very dark, and a lot of people, if not everybody I've talked to about this book, said that the artwork, Ken Lashley, the artwork took them out of the book. Personally, because of the writing and because I'm a huge fan of Catman, and I'm glad he's finally in the new 52 universe, or the new DC universe, since 52 is going away, I was able to look past the artwork and enjoy this for what it was worth. We get a background story on Catman. He was a prisoner to somebody. Everybody thinking it was the Joker. I'm not sure if it was the Joker or just some other crazy wacko doctor. But he was basically locked away for an entire year in a very small cell with just a cat. And basically for a month he was doused with a shower. Like he had sprinklers on for an entire year. So it explains why Catman cannot be kept in this box underwater with the water dripping in. because it's slowly driving him a bit insane. And now the team is left with the question, what is the secret? And one of them has to basically die in order for the others to live. I'm skipping all the Catman, the rest of the Catman background, but in the end, Catman does escape, or he does leave, but he leaves obviously very scarred because of what happened. And he swears, of course, that he's going to find the person and kill him. Anyway, there was a girl in the past also that actually was the one that gave him the cat. And whoever had him in prison, which we're thinking is the Joker, she ended up dying. He ended up killing her. And at the end of this book, the Secret Six, I'm not going to spoil how, break free, come out from under the water, and they break free from their box. And the biggest hint drop was the person who's guilty for the death of a woman needs to pay for their crimes. And the ending has basically Catman saying, we have to stick together through all this. He tells this to the whole team, and basically he says, you want us? Come get us. But be warned, you come after us, we will kill you. So choose wisely. And it says the next issue, friends in low places. So now the Secret Six are on the run again, from this person. They don't know who it is. One of them killed somebody, which some of them are villains, by the way. And now that they want revenge for that girl's death. I'm thinking this is from Catman's past. My prediction. I could be wrong. But I loved Catman's end statement where he's like, come get us if you want us, but we will take you down.
And choose wisely.
And make your choice. And before you make a move, choose it very wisely. Because it could be your last. I like this book. Gail Simone definitely wrote a really good Secret Six. I'm surprised you're not reading it because Gail Simone left your book. But I'm happy I'm reading a Gail Simone book again because Batgirl, definitely when they lost Gail Simone, they lost a really perfect person for Batgirl. So I'm glad I'm still getting Gail Simone with Secret Six. Definitely really good. Left out a lot of dialogue. I would definitely say read this for Catman's past. Look over the artwork. I did hear that the artist said he's gonna. He tried to change things up for the first two issues. By the next story arc, he goes back to his style, which is very different from what we've been seeing here. So hopefully, by the next issue, we'll get to see some different artwork, and we can enjoy the artwork as much as the story. But it was still a really good book, and definitely worth a read, in my opinion. It's a $2.99 book. So definitely give it a check out. And with that, that's it for this countdown, guys. Yep. Feel free to comment below your likes, dislikes, recommendations, anything you have to say about any of the books we had in this countdown. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we will answer your guys' comments in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, Zone 4 Podcast, and Frontline Gaming Zone. Together we're your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Look forward tomorrow, or today, because it's already 12 o'clock, so today's live show, which will be at 9 o'clock, 8:30 if we do a pre-show, which I doubt. Eastern Standard Time. And Saturday will be Hall of Toys Live on Zone 4's YouTube channel. And don't forget, also, Friday's a big day. Friday, the second episode, back now, Zone 4 is back. Oh. Myself, Mike Spiderslayer, John, and Brant sat down. We are the B team for Zone 4 now, every month, once a month. You have the regular cast first, the first week of the month, and then the last week of the month you have the B team, and that's us. And we had a really great conversation. You guys are going to love the show. Go check it out on zone4podcast.com. It should be live sometime today, which is Friday. And we had a blast. Can't wait for next month's Zone 4 episode and what we're going to be talking about there. It's late. I'm starting to talk really weirdly. So let's end this episode with take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys really soon. Seriously, like 2-3 days from now in another video. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.